Hello everyone. This is the last part of the chapter Contemporary South Asia, and in this part I'm going to discuss the SARC, a major regional organization in the region, and which was sought to be promoting peace, cooperation, and economic development in the region. And also, I'm going to discuss the role of the external powers in the region, external big powers in the region, that is China and USA majorly, and how the interference of these big powers have changed the dynamics of politics in the South Asian region. So, starting with SARC, as you all can see, the full form is South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation. This was formed in December 1985 by seven countries: Bangladesh, Bhutan, Maldives, India, Pakistan, and Sri Lanka. Okay, and Afghanistan joined SARC in 2007, 22 years after its formation, and thus Afghanistan becomes eighth member of SARC. Though in the discussions broadly on the South Asian region, we do not normally include Afghanistan's politics into the discussion, and that is the same in this chapter as well. So it was formed in 1985 and Afghanistan joins it in 2007. So how this came into existence? So first, the idea of an economic and political cooperation in South Asia was raised by Ziaur Rahman, who was the president of Bangladesh. Okay, so what he wanted, that there should be a block. It could be an economic block, so as to facilitate trade and economic exchanges amongst the countries of South Asia, and the final purpose of doing all this was to accelerate the economic growth. Okay, and there was a summit meet in New Delhi in 1983 where this declaration regarding the establishment of SARC was adopted, and after that in 1985 SARC came into existence. Fine, so this is how the organization developed. Now, different factors that gave birth to SARC was, first of all, it is the importance of the South Asian region as a whole. This region is very important because it is very strategically located. So, it is very important that these countries remain together, and they can, if possible, act as a bloc so as to protect their interest against the interests of the big powers at the global level. Okay, so that is why the idea was that there should be some sort of an organization where these countries can just solve their mutual differences. Fine. Second, that all these countries had gained independence after World War II. All of these countries had been subject to colonialism and gained independence after World War II. So they, in a way, share the same culture and same history. In fact, India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh were one country before 1947. Okay, so this is how that these factors then make the coming up of the countries together easier also. Okay, so that's what I told you. This is the third point that is given here, that they share same cultural background and history since all were under the British colonial rule. Then the region is mostly poor and it is very populated. It is overpopulated region. If you see in all the countries of this region, majorly the density of population is very high, and all these countries are either underdeveloped or they are developing countries, so they are mostly poor. So their concerns and their problems identify with each other. They do share same sort of problems, same sort of concerns. They do have a same sort of mindset to look towards this problem, to find a solution and to come up with this. So all this provide a ground for cooperation. Then the last thing is that the main economic activity in all these countries is agriculture. Mainly all these countries have agriculture based economy. So whatever their how their economic development can occur, what are the strategies to go for, to be adopted for economic development in these countries, can also match. Okay, so that is these are the factors that cause the birth of the SAARC organization. Then the five areas of cooperation that was developed, first was human resource development, that you have to develop the quality of your human resource. And how it develops? It develops when you start investing in the health and education of the human resource. Then they sought to cooperate in the area of transportation of goods, commodities, materials from one country to another. Then in the case of health and population activities, how to reduce the rate of growth of population, how to improve the health infrastructure in these countries. Then in the area of telecommunication, science, meteorology and technology. And lastly, agriculture and rural development. These five areas of cooperations were sought, where these countries would come and discuss the issues related and try to cooperate with each other in finding solutions and development. Then majorly, what were the objectives of SAARC? So as any other regional organization or international organization that you have done so far, the objective of SAARC was also to promote and strengthen collective self-reliance among the countries of South Asia. So the objective is to make these countries collectively self-reliant, to make this region collectively self-reliant, self-sufficient, so as to improve their so as to decrease their vulnerability in front of the big powers. Okay, and then secondly, to contribute to develop mutual trust, understanding and appreciation of one another's problem. Because if you see the countries, this region, and you have seen the political history of the countries in the region, there is a lot of mistrust amongst the nations. So India, Pakistan, both are rival. Pakistan and Bangladesh had a very bad history together. So there are mutual mistrust amongst the nations. So if you provide them a platform, a forum where these countries can come together and then they can talk out their disputes, they can discuss their differences, and then know, then devise some area of common interest, some area of trust, cooperation, through which they can progress further. So that is the main objective of establishing such a regional organization. Now the another thing that is very much asked in the exams also, and this was one mechanism through which SAARC sought to develop economically, was SAFTA. SAFTA is South Asian Free Trade Agreement. It was signed on 6th January 2004 during the SAARC Summit of Islamabad. It came into effect on 1st January 2006, and the trade liberalization program also commenced from 1st January 2006. Now what is SAFTA? The SAFTA aims, the FTA you have already seen. What is FTA? FTA is a free trade area. Okay, so if two countries sign the FTA, like India and Sri Lanka, I told you when I was discussing Sri Lanka that India has signed FTA with Sri Lanka. What does it mean? That between India and Sri Lanka, the movement of the goods, commodities would be smooth. Okay, so how it will be smooth? By lowering the trade tariffs. We'll lower the trade tariffs between these two countries. Okay, and that is how the movement will become faster, and it will become more also. Fine. So if that free trade area, if you are creating a free trade area in the entire South Asian region, then it will be called SAFTA. Got it? So SAFTA is a South Asian Free Trade Agreement. Like in all the countries of South Asia, there would be a free trade, meaning that the trade tariffs would be lowered. Okay. Now the idea, what is the idea behind this? The idea behind this is to just like to create an economic block over there, where the movement of the commodities will be smooth and eventually it will lead to more interdependence of the nations in the region. So all the nations in the region would become more economically interdependent on each other. And the history says that when the countries become economically interdependent on each other, then the conflicts automatically tends to get reduced. Okay, so the interdependence would eventually mitigate conflicts in the region. This was the idea behind SAFTA. But SAFTA was not taken in the same way by all the countries in the region. Why? Why this happened? I told you already that the countries in the region, they look towards India as a regional bully. So they raise their suspicion that SAFTA is an effort by India to invade their markets, okay, to exploit their markets. So that is what they started feeling and expressing. So India obviously is just too much, have become tired of these allegations, and then India decided not to give it much of the efforts. It's not worth that much of effort because already India has FTA. India has signed FTA with 3 countries in the region. Already we have FTAs with नेपाल, भूटान एंड श्रीलंका. तो 3 कंट्री के साथ हमारा ऑलरेडी है. और बाकी के कंट्रीज अगर ये फील कर रहे हैं कि साफ्टा इज नथिंग बट एन एफर्ट बाय इंडिया टू इंक्रोच इनटू देयर मार्केट्स, टू इन्वेड देयर मार्केट्स, और फ़ायदा केवल इस इंडिया को मिलने वाला है, तो इंडिया को फिर इतनी ज़रूरत भी नहीं है, और इसीलिए इंडिया ने इसको उतना ज़्यादा फिर फोर्स नहीं किया, इतना ज़्यादा उसमें दिल नहीं लगाया जितना कि इसको लगाना चाहिए था. ओके, तो ये हुआ. नाउ if you see SAARC as an organization, and you have already read about ASEAN and European Union as an organization, so in front of ASEAN and European Union, SAARC doesn't stand anywhere. That is a fact. Okay, so SAARC could not achieve that much of success as it was conceived to be. तो बहुत ज़्यादा एंथुजियाज़म के साथ इसको क्रिएट किया गया था कि ये बहुत आसियान की तरह से एक रीजनल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, मेजर रीजनल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन बन के निकलेगा और बहुत ज़्यादा इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ को फास्ट कर देगा. बट ऐसा कुछ हुआ नहीं. हुआ क्यों नहीं ऐसा? वाई SAARC could not achieve so much as it was thought? Mainly because of the conflicts in the region. You have already seen the conflicts existing between different countries in the region, and most important is the 2 big countries in the region, India and Pakistan, are arch rivals. So उस condition में SAARC summits became just a platform for facilitating the Indo-Pak dialogue. Okay, तो कई बार तो ऐसा भी हुआ है कि SAARC समिट्स को पोस्टपोन करना पड़ा है बिकॉज ओनली फॉर द रीज़न दैट बोथ इंडिया एंड पाकिस्तान वर नॉट रेडी फॉर एनी टॉक्स. ओके, सो पहले तो इनकी लड़ाई सुलझाने में सारा टाइम लग गया. तो बिकॉज ऑफ दिस म्यूचुअल मिसट्रस्ट, बिकॉज of the rivalry, SAARC could not achieve as much as it had been thought. एंड सेकेंडली इफ़ यू सी, तो ये है SAARC की कहानी कि उतना हम लोग अचीव नहीं कर पाए जितना था, और इसी वजह से कुछ अप्रोच चेंजेस भी हो रहे हैं. नाउ फर्स्ट लुक एट द नाउ व्हाट आई टोल्ड यू, द रोल प्लेड बाय चाइना एंड US, यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स, इन द साउथ एशियन रीजन. For both the countries, this region becomes important. Why it is important for China? For example, that China wants a passage from Indian Ocean towards the Central Asia. Okay, and if you see, other thing is that if you see in the region, India and China had been rival. India and China were into war in 1962, and apart from China, in this region, India is a country that can be a potential competitor टू चाइना. तो चाइना हमेशा से चाहता है कि इस रीजन में उसका इन्फ्लुएंस बना रहे, और चाइना ने हमेशा ही इंडिया के अगेंस्ट पाकिस्तान को हेल्प की है. Okay, so and right now there the proximity between Pakistan and China has increased a lot. China has invested in one road belt, one belt initiative in Pakistan. Huge investment in Pakistan China has done. So all this is a major cause of concern. Now China's proximity to Nepal is also increasing. In Maldives, it ended because उस पर एक ब्रेक लग गया, बिकॉज वहाँ गवर्नमेंट चेंज हो गई. तो उस वजह से क्या होता है कि इस रीजन में जो म्यूचुअल सस्पिशन है वो और बढ़ जाता है. अब चाइना अगर पाकिस्तान को हेल्प कर रहा है तो वो हमें ऑब्वियसली पसंद नहीं आएगा. अगर वो नेपाल से ज़्यादा ही नज़दीकी दिखा रहे हैं तो वो हमें पसंद नहीं आएगा. Okay, same goes for US. During the Cold War politics till 1991, it always happened that Pakistan was supported by US and India was supported by USSR. तो आप देखिए कि जो दो बिग सुपर पावर्स हैं, दे आर सपोर्टिंग द राइवल पावर्स इन द रीजन, एंड दिस क्रिएटेड दिस इंटेंसिफाइड दिस इंक्रीज द टेंशंस इन द रीजन मैनीफोल्ड. Okay, for US, Pakistan is important. Why Pakistan is important? Because India, right from independence, it declared itself to be a non-aligned country. उन्होंने non-aligned bloc बना लिया. तो अब इस region में US को एक अलाई चाहिए, और वो अलाई उसको मिला पाकिस्तान के रूप में. ओके, तो यहाँ पे इफ़ यूएस हैज़ टू डू एनी एक्शन इन द मिडल ईस्ट रीजन, जैसे अगर हमको अफगानिस्तान में कुछ करना है या फिर इराक में कुछ करना है, तो इस रीजन में जो एक बेस है जहाँ से उनको लॉजिस्टिक सपोर्ट मिलेगा वो है पाकिस्तान. Okay, so for US, Pakistan becomes important. Now, after the end of the Cold War, India's relation with US has improved a lot, but at the same time, US has continued its economic, financial, and strategic help to Pakistan, and that is a major cause of tension in the region. क्योंकि अगर आप दो राइवल पावर्स हैं, उसमें से आप एक को सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं, दूसरे को नहीं कर रहे हैं, तो दूसरा ऑलरेडी ये फील करता है कि यहाँ पे कुछ गड़बड़ है. वी कैन नॉट ट्रीट देम एज फ्रेंड्स एनी मोर. सो ये कहानी है. तो इसकी वजह से काफ़ी टेंशंस रीजन में रही हैं. Okay, now Sino-Indian relations, like India-China relations, have improved in the past, but China's strategic partnership with Pakistan remains a major irritant for India. अब because of all these reasons, SAARC उतना successful हुआ नहीं. Okay, तो एंड सार्क सक्सेसफुल इसलिए नहीं हुआ क्योंकि बाकी कंट्रीज ये कह रहे थे कि इंडिया को खाली फायदा है इससे. सो नाउ इंडिया इज मूविंग फॉरवर्ड फ्रॉम सार्क इन द रिसेंट पास्ट आफ्टर द कमिंग ऑफ द government of Prime Minister Modi in India. There has been a change in the approach, and one more organization is formed, that is BIMSTEC. If you have heard of this BIMSTEC, that is the Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectoral Technical and Economic Cooperation. Multi-Sectoral Technical and Economic Cooperation, Bay of Bengal Initiative. तो इसमें पाकिस्तान नहीं है और बाकी कंट्रीज हैं. एंड नाउ द पॉलिसी ऑफ इंडिया इन द पॉलिसी ऑफ द अंडर द पॉलिसीज ऑफ द प्रेजेंट गवर्नमेंट, दैट इज गिविंग मोर इम्पोर्टेंस टू दिस बिम्स्टेक रादर देन सार्क. सार्क है, ऐसा नहीं है कि सार्क खत्म हो गया है, सार्क चल रहा है, उसकी समिट मीट्स होते रहते हैं, बट बिम्स्टेक को डिप्लोमेटिकली स्ट्रेटेजिकली ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंस मिल रही है. अगर आपको याद हो तो इन द स्वेरिंग इन सेरेमनी ऑफ प्राइम मिनिस्टर मोदी द सेकेंड टर्म, the leaders of the BIMSTEC were called as special guest in the swearing-in ceremony of Prime Minister Modi. तो अब इसको ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंस ये दे रहे हैं. इसको थोड़ा और गूगल करके इसके बारे में जानने की कोशिश किया करिएगा. हालांकि अभी सिलेबस में इंक्लूड नहीं हुआ है, बट आपको जानना चाहिए इन चीज़ों के बारे में. Fine. So this is all about SAARC and the interference of the big powers in the region and how it has affected the region. Now, this chapter is really very long, but this chapter is very important to understand also, for the simple reason that we live in this region. Okay, and we should always know about our neighboring countries. And very often I have seen कि सबको अमेरिका क्या कर रहा है, रशिया क्या कर रहा है, चाइना क्या कर रहा है, इसके बारे में सब कुछ पता होता है, लेकिन हमारे नेबरहुड में क्या हो रहा है, बांग्लादेश में क्या हो रहा है, मालदीव्स में क्या हो रहा है, नेपाल में क्या हो रहा है, उसकी खबर नहीं रहती है। ओके, तो उसकी खबर रखिए, वो बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट है, क्योंकि आगे की पॉलिटिक्स में जाके इस रीजन को, ये रीजन, ये समझ लीजिए आपकी इंडिया अकेले आगे नहीं जा सकता है। इंडिया को जब भी आगे जाना है, इस रीजन को हाथ लेके जाना पड़ेगा। ओके, तो इसलिए ये रीजन बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट हो जाता है। फाइन, सो आई होप दैट यू ऑल विल अंडरस्टैंड दीज थिंग्स, एंड if not, then let me know in what manner I can help you further. Thank you for watching my videos and my channel. Hope you all will continue doing that. Thank you and bye bye.